Hey guys, it's Captain Forrest here, and today I'm going to be going over a requested and purchased Marvel vs DC matchup, Trueform Darkseid versus Infinity Gauntlet Thanos. Now, before I start this video, please, if you guys are interested in my content, please subscribe, like, comment down below, and if you are interested in purchasing a matchup, please hit me up, my Discord, my tags in the description, my cash apps in the description also, and last but not least, shout outs to the coffee shop gang. They make awesome content, their links will be in the description, and shout outs to the HQ squad. They help me with my scripts and my scans and all my research. Some big appreciation to the HQ squad. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get right into the meat and potatoes of things. So I'm gonna start off with Trueform Darkseid. So in order to gauge where Trueform Darkseid is in terms of AP, the version I'll be using is Infinite Frontier. So I'm gonna go ahead and work my way up, and I'll start off with the bleed, of course. Bleed being on the same level as or even above the time stream. This is showcased by the monitors when inside the time stream they state that the bleed is something they can't see or control. This means that even beings that exist on the same level as the time stream is actually below the bleed. Now, for why this is impressive is that we have seen consistent statements for the time stream as being beyond time and space, and it was also stated as being unaffected by the confines of time and dimensions. Now, for the second way to get the bleed to Outerversal, the bleed itself also contains the Rock of Eternity, which is consistently shown to be beyond space and time, with it also existing in all possible dimensions, showing that the true form of it is not just beyond normal space-time. As the bleed surrounds and contains everything in the orrery, it should contain the Shining Tower, which is stated to be located in the middle of existence, and the Shining Tower contains the concept of a concept. Now, to summarize this, the bleed is Outerversal as it at least exists on the same level as the time stream, while also containing the Rock of Eternity and the Shining Tower. Far beyond the bleed is the Sphere of the Gods. You may be wondering how far beyond the bleed is into it. Well, as mentioned in my Superman vs Hulk video, the Sphere of the Gods is conceptually beyond the bleed, as it's been described as a platonic archetypal world, the great realm of archetypal powers and intelligences. We established this as being in the Outerversal ballpark before, due to conceptually transcending a high hyperversal structure, aka the bleed. However, applying the Outerversal scaling that was presented for the bleed, the Sphere of the Gods skyrockets up to high Outerversal ballpark. And of course, after the Sphere of the Gods, we have Limbo, which is at least infinitely to inaccessibly beyond the Sphere of the Gods, followed by the Monitor Sphere. The Monitor Sphere is an archetypal realm and a fundamental world where everything is more profound and absolute, and was described as a realm of nothingness beyond the multiverse. The bleed, the Sphere of the Gods, and even Limbo, which means it's conceptually beyond everything I previously mentioned. In other words, the Monitor Sphere is a high Outerversal realm. If we go with the scaling mentioned in Superman vs Hulk, it's a realm conceptually beyond high Outerversal realms with the scaling that I've already applied in the versus matchup. Keep in mind, both scales are accurate. You see, I like to provide accurate versatility for my audience and give you folks multiple accurate ways to go about it, if you smell what I'm cooking. Now, as showcased in previous videos, all of creation exists inside 4 dimensions. Then we have the 5th dimension. The 5th dimension is described as existing everywhere, and that it's outside of time, which is the name of the 4th dimension. Now, the 5th dimension is described as a higher plane of existence that's more complex than the lower realms. Mixie also tells us that beings like him could not exist in a higher dimension, showcasing how beings from lower dimensions can't exist in higher ones. This would make the 5th dimension one inaccessible transcendence above the Monitor Sphere. Mr. Mixie in particular, has shown himself to scale directly to the 5th dimension, destroying it without any effort in World's Funniest. This makes sense when you consider that Mr. Mixie is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, 5th dimensional imp. However, the astronomical power of Dr. Manhattan doesn't end here, folks. Now, if you thought him scaling above Mixie is impressive, then you haven't seen anything yet. In the past, Dr. Manhattan tried mending the rifts left from the different crisis that has gone down over the years. This energy was collected by the quintessence and given to Wonder Woman. When she had the power, she was not only able to fight Perpetua, but even to defeat her, with the reason she failed being because of Wonder Woman's hesitation. And once Perpetua regained her power, she casually had Anti-Monitor take control over the Ultra Monitor, while also giving him his anti-life back. Perpetua was even stated as 100 times more powerful than any version of Barbatos. Barbatos being someone who was able to strike down the World Forger. World Forger on his own being from the 6th dimension, which Mixie notes that he himself would be unable to survive existing in. Perpetua is the mother of the multiverse, which comprises of infinite timelines and 4 layers of existence, with the highest being 6th dimension. A realm that isn't just beyond the 5th dimension. No, it's beyond the source wall itself. And to begin in the 6th dimension, all of existence is like a ball that she can easily grab hold of. So that's gonna round up the 6th dimension. Now, the reasons why this all comes together is because we see that Darkseid is easily above the quintessence. Now, the quintessence themselves were literally at the highest plane of existence, and all of the quintessence get one-shotted by an ascended Darkseid, who absorbed all of his other past emanations and past selves into himself, making Darkseid higher into 6th dimension, which is very impressive. This would pretty much mean, based off the scaling I've given for DC, if we use the stronger and high-end stuff for the cosmology, this version of True Form Darkseid is conceptually beyond High Altiversal, aka boundless. Now, if we use the mid-end or the low-end scaling for the DC cosmology, so if we only have, like, for example, the Bleed at only High Hyper, the God Sphere at only Altiversal, then Darkseid would be 2 infinite to inaccessible transcendences into High Altiversal. So those are the ranges. I'll talk more about that near the end, where I break down the fight and see who would win more often than not. But yeah, that's gonna round up all of pretty much True Form Darkseid's AP. Speed is not gonna be really an issue, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Infinity Gauntlet Thanos. Now, in terms of like Thanos himself, just base, I went over his AP in my Phoenix 5 versus Thanos video, so please check that video out. I highly recommend checking that video out. Really amazing. I may update his AP as well, because he has actually some really good AP scaling, but that's just to give you a gauge of where he would scale. So anyway, I'll go ahead and talk about the Infinity Gauntlet. So the Infinity Gauntlet at the very least is Altiversal Plus, and should be consistently around infinitely high Altiversal. So classic Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet was able to completely embarrass the Celestials and the Universal Embodies, who were no match for him. Even Galactus notes he does not have the AP to deal with Thanos with the Gauntlet. Even the Helllord Mephisto admits he would get one shot by the Gauntlet and would be no match for its power. Adam Warlock even notes that even with their combined forces, it is nothing compared to the Infinity Gauntlet that Thanos was wielding. The Living Tribunal notes inside the Dimension of Manifestation that if he clashed with Adam Warlock, who was armed with the Infinity Gauntlet, it would lay waste to the reality. So for starters, I will need to talk about the In-Betweener. The In-Betweener notes he is everything and nothing. a concept of a concept which is easily multiversal. Quasar describes the drones as infinities, and that the M-bodies like the Living Tribunal, Eternity, and Oblivion, the drones, are almost human next to the infinities. Now we look at the dimension of manifestation, where there are numerous N-bodies, each implied to be at the different level. We know this because the full scan where this numerous M-bodies is stated is when Quasar is at the trial of Adam Warlock, something that took place in the Oversphere. This means the dimension of manifestation contains levels of M-bodies, not just infinite M-bodies. We are later told that higher manifestations of M-bodies are greater infinities compared to Cosmos and Cubic. Using this, we can say that the difference between each M-body is more than an unimaginable difference between the Cosmic Cube Beyonder and Cubic, and the fact that Cubic notes that there are levels to infinity, implying all of their existence, means that the gap is so massive between classic M-bodies happens more than an infinite number of times before you get to their true forms. Now, when it comes to levels of reality, Doctor Strange notes that there are beyond infinite amounts. Now again, the dimension of manifestation contains the appearance of all M-bodies, no matter what level of reality they are. So there is a beyond infinite number of levels to reality, each with M-bodies at a different level, shown as they are at a different level for different levels of reality, and it includes overspace as such. So right off the bat, in terms of AP, the Infinity Gauntlet should have infinite layers into high multiversal. Very impressive scaling. Now let's go ahead and dive into more of the Infinity Gauntlet and the stones themselves. The user who has access to the Infinity Gauntlet controls all aspects of time, reality, space, power, soul, and mind. Thanos has mastery over the Infinity Gauntlet and is the perfect user of the gauntlet. He would upscale and be above other inexperienced users such as Nebula and Captain America and other lesser users of the Infinity Gauntlet. Now, the gauntlet comes with a number of hexes. They can also be used simultaneously too, like the iconic and infamous Thanos snap, which erases you from existence, which he was able to perform this on billions of people. In fact, the stones have multiversal range, at least, as it wasn't just affecting the Earth and other planets, it was also affecting Asgard and its people. It shattered the Rainbow Bridge and trapped Odin and the other Skyfathers, preventing them from going to Midgard. Now I'm going to go over the Infinity Gems. I'm going to start with the Space Stone. The Space Stone allows the user to manipulate space any way they see fit. Its most basic function allows the user to teleport themselves and others to any place they picture in their mind. It increases the user's speed and allows them to create black holes and manipulate gravity and fly. The user can create portals to spy on people, and they can also BFR people via portal creation, and the Space Stone allows them to be everywhere and nowhere at the same time. The Reality Stone allows the user to warp reality to their wishes and is considered to be the most dangerous gem. Basic functions of the stone allows the user to perform things such as reviving the dead, distorting reality. It's also shown that the Reality Stone can transmutate people, turning them into glass or any other materials. It's shown to create universes, and it can also perform plot hacks as the narratives are connected to space-time, and the IG controls all aspects of time, space, mind, soul, power, and reality. It's shown when Gamora uses the Reality Stone to merge the Avengers' soul and fold the universe. She then creates a new reality and pretty much seals them in that new reality as the heroes are changed, and the Reality Stone also contains the Whirlpool within, which contains multiple realities and narratives inside the stone. The user can also bend and affect the fabric of reality, and it can also erase people from existence. It can heal wounds, It can perform sleep hacks, and the reality stone is by far the most versatile stone out of the others. When combined with the time stone, it allows the user to view the actions of others and all possible which will take place, and it allows them to stay steps ahead. Now moving on to the time stone. The time stone allows the user to stop time, reverse or fast forward time. It can age people to an old person or reduce them to an infant. The user can create time loops and loop themselves in time, which they will experience events many times over, giving them many steps ahead into the future and know how the events occur. They can edit or change any events to their liking, and it makes them very difficult to kill, as they can time travel back into the past or to the future. Ghost Rider used the time stone to time travel millions of years into the future, and also travel back in time to kidnap baby Thanos. So the users can perform acausality hacks with the time stone, and the user can also BFR people back into the past. And the stone also grants the user resistance to time manipulation, as Kronos' time hacks did not work on Thanos. Now moving on to the power gem. The power gem greatly increases the user's stamina, endurance, attack potency, and destructive capabilities, and gives them control over power. It also boosts the other gems, making them more potent when combined, and the user can also power null and strip people of their own power. Thanos was able to best Mephisto in his own realm, and Mephisto is more powerful inside his realm, and the power stone also amps the users depending on how much rage they have in them, so they can amp themselves by giving themselves a rage amp, and the stone amplifies it even more, which is very impressive. The mind gem grants the user psionic powers such as telepathy and telekinesis. The mind gem is the collective unconscious, which contains the mind of the entire universe. If the user happens to already possess telepathic powers, the mind stone also amplifies those already established powers. The stone gives the user many versatile abilities that telepaths can perform. And last but not least, the soul gem. The soul gem allows the user to manipulate souls in life. The soul gem itself exists on a higher plane of reality, and it contains a metaphysical world inside of it, which is insane. It literally contains a multiverse, which is crazy. The soul stone is able to steal the spiritual essence from people, and it can BFR their souls inside the soul gem. The user will create a connection with the soul gem, granting them the memories, skills, and knowledge of others that the stone has absorbed. It can fire spiritual energy, which affects the soul, and it can also de-evolve people or revert them back from abnormalities. So that's going to round up the Infinity Gauntlet. Let's break this fight down. So depending on which scaling we use for true form Darkseid, if we give him his low to mid range of the DC cosmology, where he has two infinite to inaccessible transcendences into high outerversal, which the scaling I mentioned more in my Superman vs Hulk video. I'll leave a link to that in the description where you can look more deeper into that cosmology. Then I would say, in terms of AP, I think Infinity Gauntlet Thanos should have AP pretty easily, as he has infinite layers into high outerversal. I would give Thanos the win more often than not. I think he pretty much low diffs or no diffs true form Darkseid if you use that scaling. The Infinity Gauntlet itself is pretty busted. Just one stone alone is easily like high hyper to outerversal, which is crazy, and on top of the other layers and other impressive feats that the Infinity Gauntlet has shown, especially with the versatility and the amount of nasty hacks it can perform, such as plot hacks. It can perform transmutation, a lot of crazy feats, crazy abilities. I think Thanos has a lot to work with in this fight with the Infinity Gauntlet if we use the weaker DC scaling, of course, like the mid-end for true form Darkseid. I think Darkseid loses, and I think Infinity Gauntlet Thanos takes victory more often than not in this setting. However, if we give true form Darkseid his best scaling with the DC cosmology, where he would be conceptually beyond high outerversal, you know, aka boundless, where we have the God Sphere high outer, and of course work our way up through the cosmology, then Darkseid should one-shot Infinity Gauntlet Thanos. Darkseid would be vastly above Infinity Gauntlet Thanos in terms of AP and other aspects. He's pretty much on a new tier. Boundless is way above, it's conceptually above High Alta, so there's nothing the gems can do to Darkseid. So literally, I just think Darkseid just one-shots in this situation. Time stones won't help, especially since Darkseid has experience with dealing with time manipulators. So he'd just cancel out the time loops, and he'd pretty much just dispatch of Thanos pretty easily. So depending on what scaling you use, it's back and forth. Thanos can take victory, or the consistent scaling, and true form Darkseid would take victory if you use the better scaling, the stronger scaling for him. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave a like, comment down below, give me your thoughts, and yeah, it's been real. I'll see you guys on the next one.